there, and welcome to episode 13 on the Let's Talk Wellness podcast. The vision of this podcast is to empower individuals with knowledge on holistic wellness and self-care. My name is Shalini. I'm a corporate tech professional. I'm a yoga and meditation instructor, and health coach, and a Reiki healer. Today, I'm super excited to welcome Alicia Joy. And Alicia Joy is based out of Portland, Oregon. She's a certified hypnotherapist and a holistic health coach. Through her own path of healing the physical, mental, and emotional body, Alicia has fostered keen awareness of the critical nature of relationship, connection, and rapport. It is this connection that propels her hypnotherapy practice, serving as a guide for her clients across the globe to align their body, mind, and spirit in order to manifest their goals. Alicia's mission is to help her clients uncover a deeper understanding of their inner landscape and shed limiting beliefs in order to harness their authenticity, align with their inherent worth, and embody a passion-filled life. Welcome, Alicia.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. And today's topic is all about introduction to hypnotherapy for embracing change and uncertainty. So for one, before we even get into hypnotherapy 101, because this is going to be something that's new to me as well, where I want to actually start with is just your journey and how did you even get into this whole wellness space?
Yeah. Wow. You might have noticed I took a deep breath there. The breath is important, right? Oh, wow. So honestly, I think that my wellness journey pretty much started well before I even was aware of my wellness journey. So I won't go back that far. However, my real journey, the way that I really look at this is share a little bit about my background. I was a high school English teacher for 18 plus years. So I took the well-grooved path of going through the educational systems into a responsible job that actually in a lot of ways it checked off a lot of boxes for me in terms of my passion for social justice, my passion for language and literature, and my passion for spirituality and connection, one-on-one connection particularly. I was very interested in supporting others using language to really, I think really when it comes down to it, love themselves more. And so I managed to create through my teaching, I did that, and that was beautiful. Teaching also involved, however, certain things that were not so passion-filled for me. And as a highly sensitive person, that was really challenging. So all said, through the years of teaching, I used and would rely on many different modalities to support me. I built a yoga practice for myself. I really dove into yoga. I have 2 different yoga teacher certifications. I practiced Vipassana meditation. I did many, many, many things, did the cleanses and the wellness and all of that. And so, my wellness journey was informed by, really tuning into my body and becoming more aware of myself at an energetic level. And with that awareness, I think that also coincided with some intuitive understanding of what was best for me. And so instead of just checking boxes off, including, the one that pays the bills, which is important, I finally got to a point after many ebbs and flows, many stops and starts of, oh, should I leave this? This doesn't seem right for me. I'm burnt out. This is too much. I finally got to a point where my body was telling me it's too much. And This was when my youngest daughter, I have two daughters, my youngest daughter was 2 and my oldest was 5. And I had been confronting many different health challenges and real physical, mental, spiritual, emotional burnout. And so I resigned from teaching mid-year. I lasted the first semester and then I was done. And, and with that, I didn't know what I was going to do. I knew I had a passion for health and wellness. And so I actually did start the IAN program, the Institute for Integrative Nutrition program. And shortly after joining that, I became aware of this, of hypnotherapy, and started in a hypnotherapy program. So why that appealed to me is pretty important. I think one of the things that really drew me into hypnotherapy, and with my own experience of having experienced it as well, was that this wasn't just about the body or trying to fix me. It was about tapping into something already inside me and working with that piece. So I became aware and how to work with my subconscious mind, because the subconscious mind is really dictating so much of how I'm showing up. And so rather than, doing this one program and this other program and working with my body and cleansing and all of these things, I'm like, okay, great, this is wonderful. And then it's like, well, why am I still feeling stuck? And it was that awareness of the subconscious programming that's there, that allowed me to really start to feel more empowered in my life and to show up for myself in ways that were drastically different, with greater confidence and calm, really. Just like this sense of peace and being myself.
Wow. Oh my gosh, that's a wonderful journey. And I'm sure the audience is probably thinking, or at least I'm thinking for sure, when you talk about, the just subconscious and like everything that the mind's telling you, or we call it the mind voice, or the inner voice, inner child, so many things, right, in different terms. I know that's a very deep concept, right? And actually, this is also a perfect segue where I think you also have an upcoming workshop, which is on your website, which is Getting Unstuck.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So I'm assuming that's also just related to some practices around hypnotherapy. Is that what really that is?
Yeah. So this particular workshop is how to get unstuck, and this is all about harnessing the subconscious mind to break free of some of our analysis paralysis, right? So analysis paralysis, getting into that cycle of thinking and thinking and thinking, I've got to figure this out. Why can't I figure this out? Churning. And so what this particular workshop does is it kind of unpacks what's going on there, as well as giving some tools for breaking free of that on a day-to-day basis. Because, and hypnotherapy is a tool for is really a tool for accessing the subconscious mind more quickly, okay? But we are always, I'm laughing because like we're walking around with the subconscious mind pretty much dictating what we're doing, most of the time. And so really this is about finding ways, right? And using different tools and practices to work with that rather than fighting against it. And when we're in that sort of critical mind, the constant analysis paralysis, we're just kind of working with about 5% of our mind. And we really need to get more on board with that. So that's what that workshop is about.
I love this because I feel like I'm just drawing parallels with, how we increase our lung capacity when we actually breathe well and when we do our pranayama and breath work. So now I'm kind of hearing very similarly what you're saying, right, with our whole subconscious and how we're not even at that point, right, of utilization.
I love that. That
Yeah,
is a beautiful parallel.
yep, I'm just kind of drawing that in my mind. So, okay, so one thing I have is how does this differ from just misconceptions, right, about hypnosis? I've heard that term a lot. So,
Yeah, I mean, hypnotherapy, we use hypnosis. I think some of the misconceptions that are out there are around stage hypnosis, around mind control, and really, it's so hypnotherapy. Hypnotherapy it's a natural, well, hypnosis, a natural process that we're in every day. We're actually in hypnosis more often than you think. Hypnosis is a state of, it's an alpha theta brain state. When the mind is relaxed, you can kind of get into a flow state. Your body is more relaxed, and you become highly suggestible. And so you can absorb information from your environment really easily. And we're in hypnosis when we wake up in the morning, the first 30 minutes, and when we go to bed, before we go to bed at night, the 30 minutes or so before we go to sleep at night. And I consider those to be like magic hours. And those are times when we are, just allowing, oftentimes what we're doing is we are reinforcing negative loops in our mind, right? Regret, I wish it had gone this way. What did I do? We're replaying the day, and we're in a state of hypnosis where we are actually reinforcing some programming that's already there of, oh no, I'm not good enough, or I can't get this right, or whatever limiting stories are already there. So hypnosis, what we want to do ideally, and I'll get to what some of the misconceptions are, but what we want to ideally do, and what hypnotherapy allows for us to take this very intentional time of dropping into an alpha theta state of mind, brain state of mind, and starting to put in the programming that we want when we're in that state. We're also in the state of hypnosis. I mean, hypnosis, we're in the state, perhaps when we're driving down the highway, we miss our exit, right? It's just like, oh, where did I go? So and then when we're watching a movie, falling in love, when we're, there are different times when we're actually in that state. And so the misconceptions, I think, come from this idea that someone's going to control me. Right? Or stage hypnosis, right? And you're going to make me bark like a dog. And, some people are that suggestible, but they're choosing in stage hypnosis, right? They're choosing to put themselves in that, and they're highly suggestible. And that means that they can drop into that state pretty quickly. And so some of us are more suggestible than others.
yeah.
And so can drop into that. And that's how the stage hypnosis happens. But what I really want to emphasize is that this idea that someone's going to control me couldn't be further from the truth when it comes to, because you can always choose what you take in and absorb. And in hypnotherapy and through hypnosis, you actually, if you're working with someone that you feel the rapport, the good relationship, which I find critical, right, for this work to really have an impact, then they are using your words. You are most suggestible to yourself. And so by doing that, you are getting control back for yourself, really, is what it's about. It's not losing control. It's about gaining the 95% control that you want to have. Not 95, but,
Yes,
close
some
enough.
percentage. Yes.
Close enough, right? So,
Got it. Okay, so hypnosis then is part of hypnotherapy.
oh yes, yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's part of-
Yeah, so hypnosis is it's highly focused attention. It involves dissociation. And so you're putting yourself out of your conscious awareness, and you're creating a new premise for being, which is what we're oftentimes calling in. Oh, I wish I could change this. I wish this could change. I wish this could change. Or I don't want that change. Or, and some things are not fully in our control, but even within those things, right? The universe is giving us an opportunity to see where we have control, in our own energetic body, and associating more with that than trying to control our external environment, which tends to be a losing game.
Yep, yep. So I'm curious, what kind of challenges or specific issues do clients come to you, right? Or do they even know when they come to you that, hey, I need hypnotherapy? Or I know you're also a coach and you also do, a lot of other healing. So I'm just curious, how do you kind of, look at their issues or challenges, or do they come to you with asking for hypnotherapy, or do you figure out based on conversations, hey, I think you should do hypnotherapy? So just
Oh,
curious.
that's a good question. Yeah. Yeah. I, for the most part, my practice leads with the hypnotherapy. But hypnotherapy encompasses, as far as like what a session might even look like, is it encompasses, time where we're talking about the issue, what it is that you are, really wanting to achieve. And this is a piece that I time and again, right? I notice it's very easy for us to vent, and I'm totally open and hear that. And I know from my own, and I didn't mention this in my own wellness journey, but I went through years of therapy. And a lot of that was, okay, so I'm venting and I'm venting and I'm venting. This feels good. I'd get some insight, but it wasn't cracking into some sense of empowerment. It had so much to do with doing something different, which is important. Action is important, but not with identifying with a different way of being. And so, for me, a big part of what I do with my clients is really start to, yes, get clarity on what the root cause is for why they're feeling really stuck, whether they're stuck in relationships, whether they're stuck at their job, with anxiety, with stress, with health issues, weight loss, a lot of different reasons, whatever it is. And the real question is like, how do you want it to be? Right? Like that is so important, because we have more control over our situation, what our reality is and tends to be than we realize, right? So, so that, so how I decide, I mean, a session we'll have that rapport, we'll have those questions, we'll have some work together of unpacking what the issue is, and that question of how is it you want it to be, and really associating more with that. So I use a lot of different techniques through, I do some clearing techniques through tapping, some somatic work, as well as, some NLP questioning, some imagery, journaling. There's tons of there are many different tools that I use. Yeah.
Got it. Awesome. Yeah. And I would love to just hear some success stories of clients, right, who've kind of probably just used hypnotherapy to embrace change or even just overcome uncertainty.
Yeah. So, there was one particular client who, I saw her, she's about 47 years old, and I saw her, she came to me, and she was experiencing chronic pain and nausea, flares that were actually, and she also, she's an artist, a creative, but she was pretty much bedridden by this. And some of it was definitely related to some PTSD. She had gone through a very, very, very challenging life and times. Now, she was also working with other healers, doctors, because it's important to have a team of people in situations like this. So she was experiencing 17-hour flares of chronic pain and nausea. And 2 weeks later, after the work that we did together, her flares had decreased to about 6 hours. she had been in a state where she wasn't walking. She had been like doing her daily walk. She wasn't doing that. And yeah, about 2 weeks later, they had decreased to 6 hours. She was feeling more confident. She was making travel plans. She was moving her body. And so we rewired her subconscious to see herself not as broken or wounded, right? But by actually being really free. So that's one example. For her, she overcame this uncertainty by creating, just by stepping into a premise that was going to allow her to expand her life, right? And to have more freedom. And I think we can't, really facing change and uncertainty is a gift. It's really a good thing.
Right.
Because we're challenged in that space to no longer associate with our past, because the past is a reference, it's not a residence, and we actually get to live in an expansive, unlimited universe, and that's pretty powerful. I've worked with another woman. She was, she's in a relationship, right, with a pretty emotionally abusive partner, narcissist. And and honestly, yes, there are definitely situations where we have to leave a relationship and, but in some cases, what is really needed is to regain, in all cases, to come back to our own inner power. And so, yes, we have to flee when we have to flee. We have to fight when we have to fight. That's what our primitive mind is there for. But when we can come back to our own power and reclaim that, that's the real work. And so we worked through a lot of that, and she's doing awesome and finding her way apart from that relationship finally. But it's not something that I will say you have to leave. This is about someone coming into their own power. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Oh my gosh, that's a lot of different amazing stories. And it seems to me like, again, obviously hypnotherapy specifically, right, is working with your subconscious and your mind, but I'm assuming a lot of these, patients or clients are also working with diet, they're working with other factors influencing their life, right? Because they're looking at this holistically, is what I assume.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We go through, it's a lot of that piece as well. I mean, being a holistic health coach as well, there are many tips and strategies and practices around sleep and around nourishment being really, really key for the whole picture.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, what advice would you give somebody who is, I don't know, wanting to try or even considering hypnotherapy for the first time, especially if they're just hesitant, uncertain, or just lack of knowledge or awareness for that matter?
Yeah. I mean, I guess I would want to engage with them first and, find out the reason why. And I would just encourage them to try it, because if the hesitance is around, this fear of losing control, that is something that couldn't be further from the truth. Again, this is really about accessing, really tapping into that subconscious, to all of the subconscious programming, to start to rewire and to find hope again, to find this sense of like, oh, right, my life can be better. It can feel better. I can have more energy. And oftentimes, it's diet and it's lifestyle and all of those pieces, and relationships and community, and those are really integral as well. Our outlook on our lives is so potent. And so helping them to just start to really tease into that and associate with it is very powerful.
Amazing. And I also noticed on your website, and I'm curious, I saw you have two kinds of programs. So you have unconditional, you have embracing uncertainty. Can you just tell the users a bit about what each of those mean, and then you can kind of lead that into, just sharing information about your website or social media, or where they can also find you?
Sure, yeah. So these two programs, I have one program, the unconditional program, is really anchored around finding finding unconditional love in ourselves. So this is really about coming back to that relationship so that we can really make the changes that we need to make in our lives. And this is a 4-week program. And so it's definitely more intensive, and let's get this going, right? Let's meet ourselves where we are so that we can really, start to live a life that feels so much better, because we're not fighting against ourselves anymore. And so that's a 4-week program. And the other program, Embrace Uncertainty, that's a 4-month program. So there are 12 sessions in that program. Currently, I'm running a special that includes 2 bonus sessions, 2 bonus past life regression sessions. And that gives you the real breadth of the breadth of a lot of the work that I do. And so we establish a foundation, creating the change that you're wanting to, releasing stress, releasing anxiety. And through this program, I use, definitely all of the tools, the tapping, etc., and many, many different modalities to support the subconscious mind to release for us to release some of our subconscious blocks. And that program is, I would say it is by far the most transformational program that I offer, because I think part of that is that when people sign up for that program, they're really invested and committed, and the transformations are phenomenal. And so that is it's a great option. If you really are so over it, I'm so over this thing, I need to change, that's definitely the program for you. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, I realize, I almost feel it's like they say need of the hour, but I just see so many folks who actually need more awareness on just self-talk, and you touched upon that a bit, right? Which is all about what you tell yourself, I think is so important and completely impacts wellness, right? In just so many different aspects of our lives.
Oh, it really does. We live in a world of words.
Yes.
And we paint the picture of our lives through those words and what we've absorbed. So absolutely. Yes. Self-talk. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Amazing. So as we conclude this, Alicia, I would love for you to share your social media or your website where folks can reach out to you to learn more about hypnotherapy, or if they're just curious and they have no idea how to start or where to start. So if you want to share some of that information.
Yeah, absolutely. So my website is www.aliciajoy.healing.com. And my social is at aliciajoy.healing. And I'm on Instagram primarily, is where you can find me. And, to start this work, you just reach out to me and we can book a consultation together. And I would love to meet you. It's just my favorite thing ever. I love working with people one-on-one. It brings me so much joy. I do also have a group program that is launching at the end of this year, starting in January, and so keep your eyes out for that. But you can join my newsletter through my website, and yeah, you can get more information that way.
Thank you so much. Of course, I will share all of these links as well when I share out the podcast. I really appreciate you taking this time, Alicia. I learned a lot because I definitely had no idea about hypnotherapy, to be honest, before our conversation started here today. And I'm sure the audience learned a lot from this as well. So I really appreciate